So I'm gonna start prepping and then I'm gonna go right. First things first, let's do a little, mostly just because I need the mixing section. This was all I could freaking find. So I could do, to really think about this, which is annoying. I think I'm gonna do, I have no idea what I'm doing. As y'all already know. But yeah, this is gonna be, I've gotta go right soon. But that actually has a fair amount of yellow. I'm just gonna kind of top these off, the ones that are, okay, so we are listening to classical bangers. Playlist classical bangers. I did not make this playlist, which is funny, because I would. Alright, this is not ideal, but it's dusty. Alright, let's do I want to do the HB to start, I guess. I'm gonna trace some circles with my new, hello crows, my new stencil. I can't see if I'm in focus or anything else, so these are for the masking fluid. Is the plan for these guys. Also, I'm gonna do some French curves. Do some for the masking fluid, I'm using some old crappy cheap brushes, and I've got soapy, this is just dish soap and water mix to still protect the old crappy brushes. But the big thing is to pour out some of the masking fluid a little at a time and immediately seal it back up and put it upside down so that when flakes start to dry, they're on the bottom, not the top. Stuff I read online that makes sense to me. Sounds useful. Oh, speaking of, I saved for my good brushes the brush caps, and I labeled them. You probably can't see this, but with a Sharpie in my serial killer handwriting, I wrote the sizes, so I'll know which is which more easily. Came up with that one right off the old dome. Hey! Right. I'm allergic to latex, which is what the masking fluid is. Alright, well, I guess that's it for that. I don't like this one, so I'm not going to do it. Come on, Brain, you can do it. The dollar store, but I think it was Walmart. Anyways, which, by the way, I guess I should do like this. I'm talking to the camera, and I don't even know if the microphone's working, so I should check that first. Okay, so time to get down to the nitty-gritty and actually paint. Gonna spritz on a little water, even though these are already watery, but they are watercolors. Also gonna use this a good bit on the actual watercolor paper. Wish me luck. I'm gonna need it. I guess I should have mentioned that this is the third or fourth time I've ever used or tried to use watercolor in my life, and the first time was, 100 years ago when I was in high school. So, yeah, it's whatever. And I just remembered I'm supposed to let the paint dry completely on the palette, then spritz with water, then wait. But it's getting hot in here, which is why I turned on the industrial fan, which is loud as I'll get out. So now I sound like I'm in a wind tunnel. But anyways, yeah, before it gets too hot, I'm going to go ahead and paint so that can dry so I can peel off the masking fluid. All of this would have been started way earlier this morning, but I was having technical difficulties with the partridge and the pear tree. Because I don't want to waste and throw away a lot of paper towels. So I'm using cut up like old clothes and towels and things like that is what I'm going to use to blot. That's actually the 6 flat. I'm learning, y'all. This is the very beginning of my learning journey, okay? I'm not a painter at all. I have acrylics, but I did a couple of little pour paintings a couple of years ago. But beyond that, I don't really know that much about painting in general. So I did see a video about prepping the paper, which was funny to me because I had intuitively thought about this, about doing about wetting the paper, letting it completely dry, and then painting on it. I had literally intuitively thought, like, I wonder what would happen if I did that. And then I saw one video where a lady recommended that, but then I decided not to do it with this first one just to kind of see what happens. So this is what's happening, which so far is fine. Far back and be kind of gentle right now to see what happens. I have no idea as far as grading or not grading on these paints. I do want this line here. Doesn't need to be straight. None of this needs to be straight. I do want that harsh line at the bottom. So far, so good. As far as I'm getting the effects I'm going for. If I wasn't, you'd be hearing a bunch of cussing. We're getting somewhere. Not entirely sure where, but somewhere. Aha! 12. Learning. I love how I'm just patiently, calmly painting. And this is the background music. I do love this song, but it feels like I should be like, maybe I'll just like speed rant this part. I probably will because this is pretty boring. As much as I do love classical, I do wish I could listen to other stuff like some electronica, but copyright and all that. So I want. Oh, I need to wet this first because I'm not trying to dry brush here. I do actually want this pretty wet, like a big section. Oh, put my hand out. Like this whole section I want pretty flooded. Okay, now let's try our yellow. This next bit I may kind of dry brush this a little bit. I also feel like, maybe this is just me being a total noob, but I also feel like I'm using a lot more paint from, like, on the palette or from the palette, but not really getting as much on the paper, which may, again, be the me not waiting. So I'm gonna dry brush this on purpose, and yes, I do want this weird overlap. If it turns a little brown, that's okay. This section I do want to have a very kind of wispy. I'm not mad at it. Okay. Ooh, little clouds covering the sun over there, which will help. It's like you can instantly feel the temp go down a couple of degrees. Crazy. Notice I said like, I didn't say it's actually happening. I suppose I could have mentioned that these paints are also very old. Cheap and old, just like me, baby! My favorite color. Who'da thunk it? See now why you generously spray water. They are watercolors and they do require quite a bit of it. So anybody asking what the inspiration for this is, because I have absolutely no freaking clue. There's no real inspiration here. Just wanted to start painting. That's essentially it. Let's with that a little bit more later, but for now, I think I'm going to leave that section alone. Do some more decision making. Actually, I want some more red. So, purple is another one of my favorite colors. Actually want that there, and don't have anything except my huge cloth, so let's lift. Literally what I put that here for. This is very staining. I can still cover that. I think just have to decide on a dark color to cover it with. It wasn't my original plan, but we'll figure it out. Okay, great. So more of it. Digging the dry brushing, you guys. I do want to do like some blooming and stuff like that. So I guess I should actually, like flooding, I guess is the correct verbiage. I'm not mad at the dry brushing, I gotta say. I like it. See it like this little textured look. Kind of digging it. Taking the whole board. Okay. So, take some of this off and then see if I can do a lighter stain instead of going back to the flat. Or just gonna see what happens. I just kind of want to see what happens here. I'm gonna guess not much, but I've been planning to do some drips, so now is as good a time as any.
Yay!
See what we're about here. Okay, so you have to. The masking fluid is a lot heavier, so it, even though it dries faster, I would say it drips a lot easier. I can't afford Spotify Premium right now, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe and the notification bell if you want, I guess. The thing about subscribing is it's so. Anyways, I like where these have stopped. It's too bad the paint's, because like it's stopping on the masking fluid, which is going to get taken off. I mean, I guess I could just leave it with the masking fluid on. I actually do like this color, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I say I could, I guess. I'm going to do a yellow-green mix for this one. Plus, I need some more yellow anyways. For this one big circle in the middle. I'm literally starting to sweat. I have a bead of sweat rolling down my back. What did I just say? Yes, yellow and green. Very little green. I want this to be pretty light. Or, actually, I think I want a different. I'm gonna get a different brush. In the spirit of getting to know the brushes. So let's move down to the 10. And because I do want this to be so light, and I really do want like a flood effect, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do wet on wet, which next time I am definitely going to prep the paper the night before. Definitely. I think that's going to help a lot. All right, let's see about this yellow-green. Definitely mostly green, but let's see. All right, I'll take it. And I am going to take a break and drink some water and grab my wet pillowcase, damp pillowcase that is in the freezer and put it around my neck because it is hot in here. I also can't afford air conditioning. Okay. So, picking up where I left off. Flip this watercolor paper I'm prepping. Okay, so need to get hello. Need to get the watercolor done. The masking fluid has been on for over 24 hours, which is fine. I did read online though that if you leave it on for more than like 48 hours, it can like rip the paper. Be difficult to take off. I want to do after the watercolor base, which is almost done, is completely dry, which won't take that long because it's still hot and humid, even though it should be like winter. I want to do colored pencils and white gouache that I'm going to do at some point. I guess I should do that after the watercolor. Then the colored pencil, I could still just do some gouache. Then I think I'm going to do some, because I've got hard pastels, oil pastels, and charcoal. And, you know, just mix media it all. Come on, brain, you can do it. It's all buttery. Cool, cool. Very bright colors that I'm working with here. I haven't done much mixing. I'm going to do orange with the dagger striper, which I have not used yet. I'm going to call it the dagger stripper because, of course, that's what I'm going to call it, but it is a striper. It has one P in the name. Oh, no! Oh, it's got some orange in my yellow, which is not at all surprising. Okay. Okay. Oh, while I'm here, just go ahead and line these out a little bit more. Probably gonna all get covered up because this really is just the background. But I'm just playing, just fiddling. Okay, and that actually does. Oh, okay, this has a surprisingly, not surprisingly, I suppose. Yellow and black seem to be a little bit harder to reconstitute in these paints. I'm sure that's not a kind of standard. These are just budget paints. This big box store, not even craft store, budget paints. Break it down to some classical.